Su Jingxing, Nian Guo, and Tuahai Quanfu couldn't see through her. However, the silver dragon of creation did at a glance. Zi Luoyin Qingxia, who was being watched, wasn't flustered or anxious. She was only a little surprised. As expected of a dragon of creation. Ziluoyan Qingxia smiled as her body swayed and turned illusory. In the next moment, accompanied by an old voice, an old woman from the spirit race who was stooping forward separated from Ziluoyan Qingxia. I'm Ziluoyan Mingchuan of the spirit race. Greetings, Dragon Emperor. The old woman's body slowly materialized. She faced the silver dragon of creation and bowed with a smile. Dragon Emperor, the title of a seventh realm dragon. The silver dragon of creation was in the seventh realm, as expected. However, the old woman's identity was also exposed. She was a spirit emperor. Tuahai Quanfu was the most surprised to see the spirit emperor. The old man's eyes flashed as he stared at the spirit emperor with deep meaning. When he previously went to the spirit race to invite them to explore the Azure Dragon world together, he had never seen this spirit emperor. Only Ziluoyan Qingxia received him. And only Ziluoyan Qingxia set off with him. He originally thought that the spirit emperor was in seclusion or was held up by something else. Unexpectedly, the spirit emperor had directly possessed Ziluoyan Qingxia's body. Ziluoyan Mingchuan, the Ziluoyan family of the spirit race. The silver dragon of creation's loud voice echoed in everyone's minds. Its dragon eyes were fixed on the spirit emperor. Suddenly, it laughed strangely and said, Ziluoyan Mingchuan, your laws have collapsed. You came here to obtain the origin seed of life and death. That's right. The old woman did not deny it and admitted directly, I need the origin seed of life and death to repair the laws. I wonder if the Dragon Emperor knows where this origin seed is. Ha ha ha, the Dragon Emperor laughed out loud. Why should I tell you where the origin seed is? You want to use the origin seed of life and death to repair the laws of life and death, but what benefits will that bring me? Besides, old man Aurora is gone. Who knows where the origin seed he left behind is? The Dragon Emperor looked at the four others like it was watching a show. The four of you are also doing this for the origin seed? After the Lord dies, the laws of the world in his body will evolve and become the origin seed. Once you obtain a origin seed, you will be able to grasp a law. TSK, what a coincidence that there are 5 of you. Planning to take one each? Su Jingxing kept quiet. Deep down, he was both surprised and shocked. Su Jingxing knew that in the realm the Lord was in, one needed to comprehend at least 4 laws to succeed. In other words, time, space, life and death, and fate. These 4 laws were the basic elements. In the human race's divine martial arts system, those in the Grotto Heaven realm would comprehend the law of space. Those higher up in the meditation realm would comprehend the laws of time and space and they could live forever. Above the meditation realm, in the seeking realm, one needed to comprehend the law of life and death and fuse the 3 major laws to transform the Grotto Heaven into an inner world. If one were to comprehend the laws of yin and yang now, he would be able to grasp the power of the world through his inner world. Above the seeking realm was the mysterious nether realm. In this realm, one needed to comprehend the law of fate again, to take the title of Lord of a world. This was because the mysterious nether realm could fuse the 4 basic laws and transform the inner world into a small universe and control the origin power of the universe. In the mysterious nether realm, the more laws one comprehended, the more origin power of the universe one would grasp, and the stronger one would be. The Lord of the Azure Dragon World Lord was in the mysterious nether realm. As for how he died, no one knew. However, after his death, although the small universe left behind, the Azure Dragon world could continue to be maintained, without the control of the Lord, the internal laws were affected by the origin power and slowly turned into the origin seeds. The number of laws that the Lord had comprehended when he was alive equated to the number of origin seeds left behind after his death. Naturally, no one knew how many laws the Lord of the Azure Dragon world had comprehended when he was alive. However, according to the Silver Dragon of Creation, he had comprehended 5 laws while he was alive. Therefore, he left behind 5 origin seeds. 5 people, Su Jingxing, Tuahai Quanfu, Nian Gur, Ziluoyan Qingxia, and Ziluoyan Mingchuan. 1 for each of them. Compared to the heavenly Tao crystals, the origin seed was the true treasure of the Azure Dragon world. Refining one origin seed would allow one to grasp a law. Everyone wanted such a shortcut. Even a 7th realm expert like the Spirit Emperor could not avoid it. Especially when the Silver Dragon of Creation claimed that the laws of life and death that the Spirit Emperor grasped had collapsed. Laws would collapse. This was the first time Su Jingxing was learning about it, but it was more interesting than the origin of the Silver Dragon of Creation. The old woman directly asked the Silver Dragon of Creation where the origin seeds were. Does this Spirit Emperor not know how long the Silver Dragon of Creation has been in the Azure Dragon world? No. Suddenly, Su Jingxing came to his senses. It was precisely because the Silver Dragon of Creation had stayed in the Azure Dragon world for an unknown period of time that the Dragon Emperor learned the secrets of the Azure Dragon world. But how could the Spirit Emperor be sure that the Silver Dragon of Creation would tell them where the origin seeds were? Tuahai Quanfu and Nian Gur could not figure this out either. However, judging from Ziluoyan Qingxia's expression, she seemed to know that the Spirit Emperor had something to rely on. There are naturally benefits for the Dragon Emperor. As Su Jingxing pondered, the old woman replied, I believe that you've been here long enough and are extremely sick of it, right? What are you trying to say? The Silver Dragon of Creation's eyes flashed. You know very well what I'm talking about. Ziluoyan Mingchuan smiled and said, in this matter of the origin seed, helping us is helping yourself, Dragon Emperor. Su Jingxing raised his eyebrows and glanced at Ziluoyan Mingchuan, then at the Silver Dragon of Creation. These two fellows are actually playing tricks with each other, speaking half-truths. It seemed that the origin seeds left behind by the Lord of the Azure Dragon world was also related to the Silver Dragon of Creation. Su Jingxing could be certain that the Silver Dragon of Creation did not take away the origin seeds and refine them. Instead, it was being controlled by the origin seeds. Associating this with the fact that the Silver Dragon of Creation had been trapped in the Azure Dragon world for an unknown period of time, this fellow had quite the secret. Su Jingxing thought to himself. The Silver Dragon of Creation sneered coldly, but it did not mock her anymore. It said in a muffled voice, the 5 origin seeds left behind by Old Man Aurora are in the center of this universe. I can't get close to them. At most, I can give you directions. Thank you, Dragon Emperor. Ziluoyan Mingchuan bowed in thanks. I'll have to trouble you to bring us on the way. The Silver Dragon of Creation was speechless. Su Jingxing wanted to laugh. Giving directions wasn't enough, it had to show them the way. The key was that the Silver Dragon of Creation agreed after looking reluctant for a while. All right. The Silver Dragon of Creation replied angrily, I can show you the way, but old fellow of the spirit race, remember this. If you fail in the end, I'll devour you before your world collapses. Don't worry. We will succeed. Ziluoyan Mingchuan smiled. Didn't you already say that 5 origin seeds are perfect to give all of us one each? The Silver Dragon of Creation sneered coldly and said nothing else. Its body bloomed with light, layer after layer of silvery gray light surging. Like a mist, it first enveloped the entire body of the Silver Dragon of Creation before spreading to envelop Su Jingxing, Nian Gur, Tuahai Quanfu, Ziluoyan Qingxia and Ziluoyan Mingchuan. Boom! The sound of whistling wind filled the air. The Silver Dragon of Creation led Su Jingxing and company, its body flickering with silver light. It first broke through the outermost layer of the light cloud, then plunged into the pitch-black void. Pooh! 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 Like a dragon entering the sea, the incomparably sticky dark void allowed the silver dragon of creation to shuttle through freely. Swoosh! 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 Its speed was extraordinary. In almost the blink of an eye, it shuttled through the areas where the light clouds were. Compared to the passageway created by Su Jingxing's punches, the silver dragon of creation was like a rocket as it charged ahead and headed straight for the center of the Azure Dragon world. The speed was so fast that Su Jingxing couldn't even see the situation outside clearly. He only knew that the silver dragon of creation had been shuttling, and shuttling the entire time. He didn't know how big the vast dark void was, but it seemed endless. By the time the silver dragon of creation stopped, more than half a year had passed according to Su Jingxing's calculations. The silvery gray mist dissipated. Ahead, under the light barrier that was filled with the power of the law of extreme yang, a towering mountain that was hundreds of thousands of meters tall stood on the boundless land. There were no other living beings on the ground, not even life. However, there were trees growing on this mountain. One of the mountains was lush green and filled with vitality. However, before long, the color of the mountain suddenly changed. It became withered, dead, and gray. All life disappeared. Then, soon, the dead silence disappeared again. Thick vitality returned, covering the mountains and plains in green. Life and death are constantly alternating. Su Jingxing was surprised. We're here. At the right time, the silver dragon of creation's voice sounded in his mind. This is the center of this universe. The origin seeds you're looking for are distributed on the 5 peaks of the 5 Fingers Mountain. 5 Fingers Mountain. Really? If the silver dragon of creation hadn't mentioned it, Su Jingxing really wouldn't have thought of the name, 5 Fingers Mountain. This incomparably tall mountain peak had 5 peaks. From afar, they looked like 5 fingers. According to the silver dragon of creation's clue, the origin seed left on the mountain that was constantly alternating between life and death was most likely the origin seed of life and death. Thank you, Dragon Emperor. Ziluoyan Mingchuan first thanked the silver dragon of creation. Then, she looked at Su Jingxing, Tuahai Quanfu, and Nian Gur and said calmly, I want the origin seed of life and death. Any objections? No, Tuahai Quanfu was the first to respond. Me neither. Su Jingxing followed and glanced at Tuahai Quanfu. The old fellow was really fast. No, Nian Gur replied last. Very good. You can distribute the remaining 4 among yourselves. Ziluoyan Mingchuan smiled and nodded at Ziluoyan Qingxiao. With a flash, she flew towards the peak where life and death were constantly alternating. Ha, old fellow of the spirit race, you're bullying the young. Seeing this, the silver dragon of creation laughed strangely and said, aren't the 3 of you going to take advantage of this opportunity to take down this child of the spirit race? The dragon emperor glanced at Nian Gur, Tuahai Quanfu, and Su Jingxing. Thank you for your concern, dragon emperor, replied Tuahai Quanfu calmly. But we will distribute them well among ourselves. Is that so? The silver dragon of creation laughed strangely. A friendly reminder. Just because you've obtained the origin seed doesn't mean you can definitely refine and comprehend it. The most precious one of these 5 origin seeds left behind by Old Man Aurora is fate, but the old fellow from the spirit race chose life and death. Although it's to repair the law of life and death, if you refine the origin seed of fate, you can still forcefully repair the law of life and death through the power of the laws. Do you know why she chose like this? Tuahai Quanfu froze, his expression ugly. Su Jingxing was deep in thought. That's right, the law of fate is the key to advancing to the mysterious nether realm. If Ziluoyan Mingchuan advances to the mysterious nether realm, which makes her an 8th realm spirit lord, she can also repair the law of life and death. Why did she not want the origin seed of fate? Instead, she directly chose the origin seed of life and death. Did she not know that there was an origin seed of fate? No. Not only did she know, she knew even more. The reason why she chose the origin seed of life and death was that she knew that it could be 100% successfully refined. As for origin seed of fate, she was not confident in doing so. In other words, among the remaining 4 origin seeds, other than space, even if Su Jingxing took the rest, he might not necessarily refine them and grasp the corresponding laws. Why aren't you saying anything? The silver dragon of creation continued to laugh strangely. Another friendly reminder. It's easy to take the origin seed, but once you begin to refine it, you can't stop. The outcome is either success or failure. Putting success aside, if you fail, the person refining it will also be assimilated and annihilated by it. F***ck, is there such a big risk? All or nothing. The silver dragon of creation's meaning was clear. The choice was important. Don't take the origin seed that you can't digest. Among the 4 basic laws, what was the easiest for Su Jingxing to digest other than space? Fate was too mysterious. Yin and Yang had their limits. There was only time left. It was what Su Jingxing was the least afraid of. So. I want time. Su Jingxing sent a voice transmission. If any of you wants the origin seed of time, we can have a fight. It'll go to whoever wins. Good, how straightforward. The silver dragon of creation laughed loudly and scanned Su Jingxing with its huge dragon eyes. This human brother is interesting. He directly called out for time. Who wants to compete with him? Not me. Ziluoyan Qingxia smiled and said, I'll take space. Sister Gur, Elder Tuahai, if any of you want space, you can fight me. Tuahai Quanfu's expression darkened. He sneered coldly and did not speak. He had no need for the laws of space and time because he already possessed them. However, he was not confident that he could refine and comprehend the remaining laws of yin and yang and fate through the corresponding origin seeds. What Tuahai Quanfu wanted the most was the origin seed of life and death. However, he faced the domineering occupation of a 7th realm spirit emperor, Ziluoyan Mingchuan. Tuahai Quanfu had wanted to fight for it. After all, from the silver dragon of creation's words, Ziluoyan Mingchuan had suffered serious injuries. However, he gave up just as he was about to speak. The wariness that Ziluoyan Mingchuan gave him was too strong. Even if Tuahai Quanfu was confident that he could injure Ziluoyan Mingchuan, injuring was injuring, it did not mean that he could kill Ziluoyan Mingchuan. Once he completely enraged Ziluoyan Mingchuan, Tuahai Quanfu had no confidence in escaping. As such, even though Tuahai Quan was frustrated, he fell silent, not knowing what to choose. Nian Gur was the same. Time and space were not what she wanted. Nian Gur had originally wanted the origin seed of yin and yang, but after hearing the silver dragon of creation's warning, she hesitated. Sister Gur, Elder Tuahai, do you have any objections? Ziluoyan Qingxia smiled at the two of them. Seeing that they did not react, they clapped their hands and called to Su Jingxing. Since you have no objections, let's go, handsome. You take the origin seed of time, and I'll take the origin seed of space. All right. Su Jingxing naturally agreed. In a flash, he flew into the space enveloped by the light barrier. However, the moment he entered, a terrifying invisible force suddenly surrounded him from all directions, instantly drowning Su Jingxing's spiritual martial arts body, as well as his divine consciousness and soul. What power is this? Su Jingxing was shocked. Without any warning, it instantly covered his soul and body. Although it had no intention of harming him, Su Jingxing instinctively rejected this uncontrollable force. His spiritual martial arts body shook as he tried to resist. Buzz! A glow immediately appeared on Su Jingxing's body. It was instantly disintegrated by an invisible force and dissipated. Haha, human fellow, this is the origin power left behind by Old Man Aurora. It won't cause you any harm. The silver dragon of creation's voice sounded. You can't resist either. With the origin power on you, you can only passively endure it, unless you are also in the mysterious nether realm and a lord of a world like Old Man Aurora. Thank you for your clarification, Dragon Emperor. Su Jingxing replied with a voice transmission. You're welcome. The silver dragon of creation's voice sounded in his mind again. A friendly reminder. The origin power won't hurt you, but it will restrict you from leaving the center of the universe you step into. What do you mean? Su Jingxing's expression changed. Simple. You have no way out. The silver dragon of creation laughed strangely. There is only one way for you. Go get an origin seed and refine it. In other words, if I fail to refine the origin seed, I will be trapped here forever. Su Jingxing asked in a low voice. That's right. The silver dragon of creation laughed. With the origin power on you, only the power achieved after refining the origin seed can be immune to it. If you don't take the origin seed or fail to refine it, you will be trapped inside and unable to leave. Su Jingxing kept quiet. The silver dragon of creation did this on purpose. Ziluoy and Mingchuan too. These two fellows clearly knew the problem, but they did not tell them. The center area was filled with origin power. Once one entered, there was no way to leave. If one wanted to leave, they had to obtain an origin seed and successfully refine and comprehend it. A failure would mean being trapped forever. The silver dragon of creation saying that it couldn't enter the center area was all bullsh*t. The truth was that it didn't dare to. This reason played at least half a role in affecting that decision. Su Jingxing wasn't sure what the other half was for now, but Ziluoy and Mingchuan definitely knew. Ned Smelly Loach. Su Jingxing gritted his teeth. Anger was useless now. The only way was to get a origin seed and successfully refine it. Right, Ziluoy and Qingxia had entered the center area faster than Su Jingxing, but she didn't stop. Clearly, she also knew about this situation. Ziluoy and Mingchuan had informed her in advance. This spirit woman is King Sinister. She only wanted the origin seed of space. Who knows, she might have grasped the law of space to begin with. Su Jingxing raised his head and looked at Ziluoy and Qingxia, who had entered one of the finger peaks. His eyes flashed. In the next moment, he regained his composure and flew towards Five Fingers Mountain. At this point, no matter why the silver dragon of creation deliberately hid this fact, he could only face it. Su Jingxing was confident that he would succeed in comprehending the origin seed of time. This fellow is interesting. Behind, the silver dragon of creation looked at Su Jingxing, its huge dragon eyes flickering with a strange light. He actually calmed down so quickly. That's true. Would anyone who has come this far be a coward? The eyes of the silver dragon of creation were bright. In the next moment, it retracted its gaze and looked at Nian Gur and Tuahai Quanfu. It sent a voice transmission. What are you two waiting for? Have you not thought it through? The origin seed of fate or the origin seed of yin and yang, any one of them is fine. Don't wait anymore. Go in. You can still slowly make your choice after entering. Thank you for your consideration, Dragon Emperor. Tuahai Quanfu replied calmly, however, after thinking about it carefully, I have decided against it. With my talent, I can't comprehend and refine either of the two. Rather than failing and being assimilated in the end, I might as well give up. Are you really that willing? Asked the silver dragon of creation. There's nothing to be indignant about, replied Tuahai Quanfu coolly. Alright, it's up to you. The silver dragon of creation looked at Nian Gur. Fox, are you giving up too? Nian Gur was silent for a moment before she replied, yes, I give up too. Sigh. When the silver dragon of creation heard this, it sighed and said, it's such a pity that the two of you aren't willing to seize such a huge opportunity. Thank you. Pa! With two dull thuds, Nian Gur and Tuahai Quanfu were suddenly pushed into the range of the light barrier by an invisible force. In an instant, like Su Jingxing, the two of them were instantly drowned by the origin power. This is, Tuahai Quanfu's expression changed drastically. Nian Gur's face was also dark as she turned to look at the silver dragon of creation. Ha ha ha. The silver dragon of creation laughed out loud. There's no need to thank me. I'm doing this for your own good. It's such a pity to give up such a huge opportunity just like that. You, Tuahai Quanfu's expression changed several times. He glared angrily at the silver dragon of creation, his eyes spitting fire. Nian Gur's aura condensed and swept across coldly. What is this power? What power? Oh, you mean the origin power, said the silver dragon of creation with a smile. Don't worry, this power won't harm you. But you can't leave either. You have to refine and comprehend an origin seed before you can do so. Therefore, for the sake of the laws and to come out safely, you'd better go up the mountain and find an origin seed each. Tuahai Quanfu and Nian Gur's expressions were extremely grim. They were being forced to comprehend the origin seed. There must be a problem. The silver dragon of creation must be plotting something. What was it? In their anger, both Tuahai Quanfu and Nian Gur wanted to know the answer. Su Jingxing wanted to know too. However, as he stepped onto a peak, his gaze was quickly attracted by a few crystals at the foot of the mountain. Heavenly Tao crystals. The peak where the origin seed of time was located had its own characteristics. But such characteristics shouldn't include heavenly Tao crystals scattered on the ground, right? Su Jingxing released his spiritual essence and picked up the heavenly Tao crystals. After carefully sensing for a while and confirming that there was no problem, he put them into the soul space. The heavenly Tao crystals scattered on the mountain were clearly left behind by the Lord of Azure Dragon World as well. It was unknown where this Lord's legacy was, but it was not surprising that the treasures left behind were scattered in the center of his small universe. With this in mind, Su Jingxing released his spiritual martial arts divine consciousness and walked up while searching for possible treasures. Before long, Su Jingxing picked up 3 more heavenly Tao crystals, 7 divine weapons, 4 Tao weapons, a strange armor, an energy stone that was neither gold nor jade, and a fruit that did not have any aura but did not rot for a long time. After Su Jingxing obtained these things, he first checked them to make sure that there were no problems before he unceremoniously put them all into the soul space. Previously, in the other light clouds, other than a few heavenly Tao crystals, there was nothing else. Now that there were treasures he could pick up for free, Su Jingxing naturally wouldn't stand on ceremony. He searched as he walked. Until he discovered the origin seed of time. This origin seed of time was very small, about the size of a table tennis ball. It did not have a fixed color because it was constantly changing. It floated in the air and emitted a milky white glow that filled a radius of dozens of meters. It was located halfway up the mountain, near the peak. After Su Jingxing found it, he slowly moved closer. His spiritual martial arts body neutralized the cleansing of the power of time. The closer he got to the origin seed, the stronger this cleansing became. Fortunately, Su Jingxing's body had been cleansed by 2 void lightning tribulations and was immune to the power of time. If one had not experienced the lightning tribulation, he would have been destroyed and turned into dust by the power of time before it even got close to the origin seed of time. Another pitfall. The glow emitted by the origin seed contained terrifying power of time. Su Jingxing calmed himself down and walked to the side of the origin seed, reaching out to hold it. Buzz! The moment he grabbed the origin seed of time, Su Jingxing's physical body turned illusory. The surrounding void distorted, and ripples that resembled water waves surged non-stop. Then, Su Jingxing's spiritual martial arts divine consciousness was pulled into a long and narrow river. The river of time. Su Jingxing was surprised. His spiritual martial arts divine consciousness sensed this river. Moments later, he came to his senses and knew what was going on. It was indeed the river of time, but it was not the river of time in the outside world. Instead, it was the river of time in the Azure Dragon world. This river was nurtured by the Lord of the Azure Dragon world through the law of time. Although the law of time had already evolved into the origin seed of time, the river of time did not disappear and was still maintained. However, this river was no longer stable and continuous. Instead, it was intermittent and blurry. This was also in line with the situation in the Azure Dragon world. The power of time, extreme yang, and space in the small universe left behind by the Lord of Azure Dragon world were still circulating. Even though the river of time was unstable, intermittent, and blurry, it would take countless years to completely disappear. Su Jingxing's spiritual martial arts divine consciousness stood above the river surface and sensed the most ruthless and powerful power of time. It was clearly not enough to comprehend and refine it while standing above the surface. He had to enter the river. With this in mind, his spiritual martial arts divine consciousness condensed a manifestation and jumped into the river. The manifestation connected to his soul consciousness as it sensed the terrifying power of the river of time. Even though the river of time was no longer continuous and had broken into countless sections, preventing it being a flowing and cleansing force. In the river water, the corrosion of the power of time still crazily stimulated Su Jingxing's spiritual martial arts divine consciousness manifestation. On Earth Star, only a few minutes had passed for the primordial spirit. Su Jingxing's spiritual martial arts divine consciousness manifestation was in the river of time for an unknown period of time. Before the comprehension began, the manifestation was almost affected. Not to the extent of getting lost. This was because Su Jingxing had a primordial spirit that helped him maintain consciousness on Earth Star. As long as Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was not destroyed, Su Jingxing's consciousness would never be lost. Therefore, gradually, Su Jingxing's spiritual martial consciousness manifestation familiarized itself with the power of time in the water of the long river of time and began to control this river water. It splashed, created ripples, created vortexes, and stirred up waves. In short, Su Jingxing's spiritual martial arts divine consciousness manifestation was completely immersed in the river of time. Like a fish, it shuttled through the river water. From time to time, it would stir up splashes and slowly gain control of the river. It was unknown how long this process would take. Su Jingxing stood halfway up the mountain, holding the origin seed of time in his hand, as if he had fallen into eternity. At the same time, Nian Gur, Tuahai Quanfu, Ziluoyan Qingxiao, and Ziluoyan Mingchuan, entered their respective peaks, took their origin seeds and began refining and comprehending. The silver dragon of creation watched this scene from the periphery of the light barrier with a smile in its eyes. Earth Star. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit maintained its consciousness and will. The silver dragon of creation said that one could not leave after entering the center area of the Azure Dragon world. Although Su Jingxing had experienced it himself, he still wanted to see if he really couldn't leave. He would use a simple method, instant space on the fourth level of the cosmic tower. On Earth Star, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit connected the cosmic tower to the center area of the Azure Dragon world. In the end, there was no reaction. At this moment, the instant space ability on the fourth level of the cosmic tower really could not connect to the Azure Dragon world, let alone the central area. Ming, what's going on? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit asked. Master, this is because the exit on the other side is not in the same universe as us. Ming's reply was brief. The current ability of the cosmic tower can only be carried out in the same universe. You said, current? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit caught the key point. You mean that among the locked levels of the cosmic tower, there is an ability to connect to other universes? Master, Ming cannot be certain. Ming replied calmly, we won't know what the abilities of the subsequent levels of the cosmic tower are until they are unlocked. Alright. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit raised its hand. Without unlocking, the abilities remained unknown. It had long known about this. There was no point in asking. However, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was a little surprised that a small universe like the Azure Dragon world could actually be separated like a real universe such that the cosmic tower could not break through. This meant the mysterious nether realm of the divine martial arts system had almost left the current universe and become a brand new existence. Lord of the Universe. After the mysterious nether realm is the Lord of the Universe. After all, the universe was created by oneself. What else could it be if not the Lord of the Universe? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit thought to itself. Very few people knew what was beyond the mysterious nether realm. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit merely made a guess. But come to think of it, there was definitely someone above the mysterious nether realm. The reason was simple. Why did the Lord of the Azure Dragon world die? He had already established his own small universe. In theory, the Lord was already an immortal existence. Yet he was still dead. But who could kill him? Experts of the same realm. Eighth realm spirit lords, devil lords, divine lords, and other existences. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit refused to believe it. The origin power of the small universe was not something that laws could compare to. The law of life and death grasped by the Spirit Lord, Ziluoyan Mingchuan could collapse, but the small universe would not. This was seen in how the Azure Dragon world had been nicely left behind. Therefore, an existence who could kill the Azure Dragon world lord must be above the mysterious nether realm. Only those above this realm had the ability to kill the Lord of the Azure Dragon world and leave the Azure Dragon world unaffected. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was eager to know what this realm was called. Perhaps. What's going on? Suddenly, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit jolted awake. It opened its eyes and looked around, even at the void. Right now, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was on a mountain peak north of Green Cloud Mountain. But at this moment, the entire Green Cloud Mountain range was trembling. It was not a tremor on a physical level, but in the range of space. The entire void where Green Cloud Mountain was located shook uncontrollably under the guidance of an invisible force. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit had comprehended the law of space and could clearly sense that there was no movement in the void outside Green Cloud Mountain. Only Green Cloud Mountain, the entire area including mountains on the surface and 10,000 meters deep underground, was trembling. What is going on? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit thought quickly. In the next moment, it suddenly got up, put away the cosmic tower, and soared into the air, flying towards the south of Green Cloud Mountain. Swish! 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 Whoosh! Whoosh! While on its way, two figures flew into the sky from the east and west of Green Cloud Mountain, also heading south. Martial Sage Kong. He Sanxiao's voice sounded. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit knew it was him without turning around. Seeing this, He Sanxiao did not come over. Instead, he continued flying south. Master, it's the Two-World Gate. The other figure was the leader of the Winged Ones, Sha Lu, whom Su Jingxing had subdued. As he flew, he quickly said, the Two-World Gate has been reopened. Green Cloud Mountain is connecting to other worlds and becoming a two-world mountain again. What? It really reopened? He Sanxiao was shocked when he heard this. He said in horror, why was it suddenly reopened? I don't know, Sha Lu replied in a deep voice, his expression grim. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was even more silent. When it flew over, it had guessed that it was related to the Two-World Gate. The tremors of Green Cloud Mountain might have been due to the reconnection of the two worlds. Now that it had received confirmation from Sha Lu, its heart sank. The two worlds were reconnected, and Green Cloud Mountain had become a two-world mountain once again. This was not good news. No matter the situation in the other world connected to Green Cloud Mountain, it would do more harm than good for Earth Star. Even though with Su Jingxing's current ability, he could easily retreat to other worlds if he couldn't defeat others, but the rest of the people would be finished. Of course, this was being pessimistic, which was not desired. Su Jingxing was just setting the bar as low as possible for his mental preparation to avoid being happy for nothing. Sha Lu, is there a time limit to the reactivating of the two-world mountain? Or, can we cut it off now and interfere as an external force? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit asked in a low voice. Sure. Sha Lu quickly replied, those who have grasped the law of space can interfere with the reactivation of the two-world mountain and delay the successful connection of the passageway. An expert in the human race's seeking realm who has grasped the power of the world can even break off the passageway before it is completely connected. The law of space. Power of the world. He Sanshao blinked, feeling a little dizzy. This information was too disconnected. However, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit understood and instantly figured out the reason. The law of space used the power of space to interfere with the vibration of the void and slow down time. A martial artist in the seeking realm would use his internal world as the foundation and through the power of the world he controlled, forcefully shatter the passageway. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit could not do the latter for the time being, but the former could be achieved. Extend the time required for Green Cloud Mountain to turn back into a two-world mountain. As for the time limit to the reactivation of the two-world mountain, there's no standard. Sha Lu continued, in my bloodline legacy memories, there isn't much information about this. I think some are as long as a month or as short as half a day. Then there's still time. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit focused its gaze on the mountain wall in the south that it had gone to last time. There's still time. Sha Lu and He Sanshao were stunned. What did he mean by, there's still time? Could it be? He Sanxiao's expression changed. He could not hide the shock in his eyes. Sha Lu's eyes were also shining. Swoosh! Who? Without waiting for He Sanshao and Sha Lu, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit traversed through space and arrived above the mountain wall where the two-world gate was located. As soon as it arrived, it circulated the law of space and produced the power of space. It spread to the four sides of the mountain wall and connected to the entire mountain wall. Then, with the help of the mountain wall, it used the two-world gate as the foundation to disrupt the surrounding space. Space was in chaos, and Green Cloud Mountain shook even more violently. Originally, it was just a tremor in the air that had nothing to do with the physical body. Those below the transcendent grade on Green Cloud Mountain might have sensed that something was wrong, but they wouldn't be able to see the source. However, under the chaos caused by Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, any martial artist in the top ranks could feel the space trembling. The huge mountain range of Green Cloud Mountain also began to shake. Even though the magnitude was very small, it was indeed trembling. For a time, the people who happened to be on Green Cloud Mountain immediately panicked and screamed. Earthquake! Earthquake, run! There has never been an earthquake on Green Cloud Mountain. What's going on today? A sudden earthquake? Who cares what the reason is? Running is more important. The people scattered all over Green Cloud Mountain hurriedly fled out of the mountain. Swish! Swish! In the forest, countless birds were startled and also took off. They gathered into a black mass and flew out of the mountain. On the ground, beasts roared and ran on all fours. The rumbling sounds did not stop. South. Above the mountain wall where the two-world gate was, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit continued to maintain the interference of spatial power. After He Sanshao and Sha Lu rushed over, their eyes widened in shock. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit could really interfere with the reactivation of the two-world mountain. The law of space. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit had grasped the law of space. Although He Sanshao didn't know how powerful the law of space was, it didn't stop him from imagining it. Soul Platform Realm. Cloud Ascension Realm. He Sanxiao was both curious and shocked as to what realm Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was in now. Compared to He Sanxiao, Sha Lu was aware of the difficulties of comprehending the law of space. Due to their relationship, Sha Lu knew that the primordial spirit had advanced in its realm again. It had broken through to the soul platform realm. But when was a martial artist in the soul platform realm able to comprehend the law of space? Even in the cloud ascension realm, one would not be able to comprehend the law of space, let alone in the soul platform realm. This was because the mastery of strength in the divine martial arts system was formed step by step. For example, the grotto heaven was slowly developed through the expansion of spatial power. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was only in the soul platform realm, but it had grasped the law of space. It was unbelievable. Buzz buzz buzz. At the mountain wall where the two world gates was located, the void kept shaking. The primordial spirit's body was not affected. It was neither afraid nor wary of the passageway that was close at hand. He had achieved his goal of using the power of space to interfere with the reactivation of the two-world gate. But soon, the primordial spirit realized that something was wrong. The power that the other world connected to Green Cloud Mountain applied on the two-world gate suddenly increased. The other side seemed to have sensed that someone was interfering on Green Cloud Mountain's side to delay the connection of the passageway. Therefore, they increased the power of the reactivation. This reinforcement was so strong that it disintegrated the interference of Su Jingxing's primordial spirit in a few moments. Buzz buzz buzz. Boom. Boom. The trembling in the void intensified, and so did the tremors on the Green Cloud Mountain range. Crack. A crack quickly appeared on the ground between two massive mountains. Boom. Another mountain peak suddenly collapsed and poured towards the foot of the mountain. Hoo! Hoo! Strong wind swept and dust flew. At this moment, the entire Green Cloud Mountain range seemed to have fallen into an apocalypse as the ground shook. What's going on? He Sanxiao recovered from his shock and asked in surprise, why did the tremors intensify? The other side is strengthening the opening. Sha Lu carefully sensed the commotion and said solemnly, the other side is using a massive amount of energy to reactivate the two-world mountain and two-world gate. It seems to be some treasure. It could also be an expert. He Sanxiao regained his composure and asked curiously. Perhaps, Sha Lu replied in a deep voice. If it's really an expert, then that's an even greater threat. Well, He Sanxiao was silent. That's right. How powerful would someone who could connect two worlds be? If such a person really came to Earth Star, the danger would be too great. Buzz buzz buzz. The air trembled, and the mountain wall where the two-world gate was located shook like a motor was vibrating crazily. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit listened to the conversation between He Sanxiao and Sha Lu with a grim expression. The unknown party controlling the connection to Green Cloud Mountain in the other world was definitely not part of a small faction, even if he was not an expert. This matter was getting tricky. In particular, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit discovered that the reinforcements from the other side had become stronger again. It seemed determined to fight Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. The primordial spirit wanted to extend the reactivation duration, but the other side kept increasing the intensity. This force quickly exceeded the primordial spirit's comprehension of the law of space. In the end, the activation of the two-world mountain was sped up. The interference of Su Jingxing's primordial spirit actually sped up the transformation of Green Cloud Mountain back to a two-world mountain. D***it. Sensing that something was wrong, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit cursed inwardly and immediately stopped the interference of the spatial power. It took a few steps back and calmed its breathing. What's wrong, Martial Sage Kong? Seeing this, He Sanxiao asked nervously, has the situation changed? It's more than that. The other party has increased the intensity of the reactivation, exceeding my interference. Su Jingxing's essence soul said in a low voice, we can't stop this. Sha Lu, immediately lead your clansmen to leave Green Cloud Mountain and go somewhere else. Brother He, please inform the martial sages of the various countries in the eastern continent about the situation here. Green Cloud Mountain is turning back into a two-world mountain and will connect to another world. Moreover, this unknown world is coming aggressively. Yes, Master, Sha Lu replied respectfully and turned to leave. He Sanshao got straight to the point. Alright, I'll definitely deliver the news as quickly as possible. With that, he turned around and flew north. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit soared into the sky, passed through the border membrane, returned to the void world, and found Dongfang Pochu's essence soul. Senior Kong. Facing Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, Dongfang Pochu bowed respectfully and shouted, "Is anything the?" Something has happened. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit raised its hand and interrupted, "Come down with me immediately." Huh? Dongfang Pochu was puzzled. Before it could ask, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit passed through the border membrane and returned to the real world. It immediately followed behind and landed on Green Cloud Mountain. The moment it arrived above Green Cloud Mountain, its expression changed drastically. Senior Kong, this is. The entire Green Cloud Mountain range, as well as the space and void around it, were shaking. This was the first time Dongfang Pochu had seen such a situation. Its heart raced uncontrollably and he was terrified. "I'll cut to the chase," Su Jingxing's primordial spirit explained in a low voice. Green Cloud Mountain has existed since ancient times. At that time, it was called the Two-World Mountain. It was a transit station that connected to other worlds. It quickly recounted the history of Green Cloud Mountain and what had happened. Finally, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit said in a deep voice, "Now, I want you to inform the cabinet to evacuate the entire Changyang prefecture immediately. Because there is a 99% chance that Green Cloud Mountain and even the Changyang prefecture will become the battlefield between the two worlds." Battlefield between the two worlds. Just by hearing these words, Dongfang Pochu felt suffocated for some reason, and its heart beat madly. The message from Green Cloud Mountain had come too suddenly and violently. The impending danger had triggered his brain to the point of aching. Suppressing its palpitations and agitation, Dongfang Pochu's essence soul gritted its teeth and said, "All right. I'll inform the cabinet now. We'll execute the evacuation mission." This evacuation was clearly a forced one. Even if the population of Changyang Prefecture was close to 100 million, they had to evacuate within a day. No, perhaps they didn't even have a day's time. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit sensed the fluctuations of the two-world gate intensifying. At this rate, the gate would be successfully opened in less than a day. At that time, Green Cloud Mountain would return to its function as a two-world mountain. Therefore, the time left for the Changyang Prefecture's 100 million citizens was extremely limited. Dongfang Pochu's essence soul came down with Su Jingxing's essence soul, but his physical body was in the capital. He immediately went to the cabinet and informed them about the situation on Green Cloud Mountain. Soon, the upper echelons of all the cities in Changyang Prefecture received a compulsory evacuation notice. As for the reason, there was no elaboration. It only stated that a great danger was about to descend on Changyang Prefecture. Everyone had to cooperate and leave the city empty-handed, retreating to the neighboring prefectures. The Changyang Prefecture's garrison was the first to take action, followed by the Martial Suppression Office, the Public Security Team, the City Defense Guard, and other forces. Government planes were dispatched from the nearby prefectures to board the people. A shrill alarm resounded through the air above every city in Changyang Prefecture. The martial artists in the top ranks of the government flew in the air and appeared above the cities to supervise the evacuation mission. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit thought for a moment and used the divine light projection technique to narrow the range of its projection. It only projected to every city in Changyang Prefecture and appeared with Dongfang Pochu to inform everyone to evacuate Changyang Prefecture. The sudden evacuation and the shrill alarm caught everyone off guard. In their panic, many people subconsciously rejected and disrupted the evacuation. Coupled with the incitement of some people, it caused quite a commotion. The primordial spirit's projection immediately suppressed the spewing flames. Be it the cabinet or Dongfang Pochu, the prestige and faith they commanded from the people could not compare to Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. In the U-Nation, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit could be said to be revered by everyone. Its call was more effective than anyone else's. Therefore, the great evacuation began in an orderly manner. Under the command of the officials, large trucks drove out of the various cities. Planes took off from the airport and left Changyang Prefecture. Such a huge commotion undoubtedly spread quickly online. What happened in Changyang Prefecture? A war? Is a war coming? I don't know. Even if it's a war, there's no need to evacuate all the people from a prefecture, right? There's no need to guess. It's mostly because a forbidden area that is out of control has appeared somewhere in Changyang Prefecture, and it has just emerged. Out of safety considerations, the officials can only evacuate the people and send them back after the forbidden area has been suppressed. TSK, big move, certainly a big move. They're evacuating 100 million people just like that. But with Marshal Sage Kong around, this matter won't blow up. That's right. Marshal Sage Kong's appearance means that the matter is under control. Do they need to recruit soldiers? If I sign up, can I meet Marshal Sage Kong? Dream on. The internet was bustling. In reality, the people of the other prefectures were also in heated discussions. The common folk made all kinds of guesses, but the upper echelons of the cabinet were uneasy, nervous, and uneasy. However, at Guan Zhonghua's level, everyone could control their expressions very well and did not put too much pressure on those below. Of course, even if the sky collapsed, there would be someone tall to hold it up. Before Marshal Sage Kong collapsed, the U-Nation would not be in danger. However, no one knew who the other party was or whether they had powerful martial strength. Perhaps Marshal Sage Kong could easily deal with them, but what if even he was no match for them? Wouldn't the U-Nation be in trouble? Would countless people die tragically? At this thought, Guan Zhonghua, Luo Shan, and the other big shots in the cabinet were filled with worry. Instantly, more and more troops from the various prefectures were mobilized. They kept marching into Changyang Prefecture. Half of them helped to evacuate the people, and the other half headed straight for Green Cloud Mountain to build a line of defense around it. Such a defense line was useless, but it was also useful. Guns and missiles were quite lethal to lifeforms below the transcendent grade. However, they were only for show. As such, even though Su Jingxing's primordial spirit did not think much about them, it did not stop them. The trembling of Green Cloud Mountain continued. If Su Jingxing's primordial spirit interfered, it would speed up the reactivation. It could only let go and allow the two-world gate to open. Given how big the commotion in the U-Nation was, the other dynasties were naturally paying attention. He Sanshao informed them one by one. When the martial sages of the various countries learned the news, their expressions varied. The martial sage of the Jing Nation, Gong Juanlian, martial sage of the Guang Nation, Wei Qingzhang, martial sage of the Kong Nation, Shi Ke, martial sage of the Snow Nation, Yu Xiangtian immediately set off and rushed to the Yu Nation to provide aid. On the other hand, the Zheng Nation's Luo Ao, the martial sage of the Wei Nation, the martial sage of the Liang Nation, and the others chose to watch from the sidelines. Instead, Pei Donglai and Xiahou Chuanwu rushed to the Yu Nation immediately. Both of them were in the primordial spirit realm, and their combat strength was guaranteed. However, while they were still on the way, White Emperor City arrived above Green Cloud Mountain first. Swoosh! Swoosh! A crack appeared in the chaos in the air. An ancient and dilapidated city emerged from the crack. Swoosh! 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 The sound of rushing wind sounded. As soon as White Emperor City stopped, 3 figures flew into the sky from the city and rushed out of the city's protective barrier to arrive in front of Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. Martial Sage Kong, what's going on? Zheng Busan greeted Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. Martial Sage Kong, this is our first chief, Bai Zhankong. Zheng Busi introduced a tall middle-aged man beside him to Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. The latter had sharp features, thick eyebrows, big eyes, and a heavy aura. He looked at Su Jingxing's primordial spirit and said in a low voice, Bai Zhankong greets Martial Sage Kong. You 3 came at the right time. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit nodded at Bai Zhankong and quickly explained, I believe you guys have seen the current situation. Green Cloud Mountain is connecting to other worlds, and turning into a 2-world mountain. I want to know, how much does White Emperor City know about places like the 2-world mountains and 2-world cities? Huh? Zheng Busan's mouth fell open in shock. Green Cloud Mountain is a 2-world mountain. Green Cloud Mountain is being reactivated. It has returned to being a 2-world mountain. Zheng Busi was equally shocked. 2-world mountain. Bai Zhankong pondered. I've heard of these matters, but I don't know much about them. There were records of this in White Emperor City, but something happened previously and all of our information was destroyed. As for what had happened, Bai Zhankong subconsciously brushed over it. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was also not interested in asking what had happened in White Emperor City right now. When it heard this, it said in a deep voice, that's troublesome then. Green Cloud Mountain will soon complete its reactivation and return to being a 2-world mountain. Changyang Prefecture, U-Nation, and Earth Star will encounter the biggest variable since ancient times. Currently, it was a variable. Whether or not it would evolve into a calamity depended on what would appear from the other side after the 2-world gates opened. Zhang Butong, and Bai Zhankong naturally understood this. Therefore, the 3 of them fell silent. White Emperor City shouldered the heavy responsibility of protecting Earth Star. Now that the 2-world mountain was back, anyone could leave except for them. Swoosh! 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 Figures flew over from the horizon. Gong Junlian, Shirkei, and the others arrived at the southern side of Green Cloud Mountain one after another. Pei Donglai and Xiaoho Chuanwu also arrived one after another. The lifeforms of the unknown world were about to connect to Earth Star. With the enemy before them, Pei Donglai temporarily suppressed his fear of Su Jingxing. After arriving at Green Cloud Mountain, he did not gather with Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, Zheng Busan, and the others. Instead, he directly guarded the outermost periphery and waited for the reactivation of the 2-world gate to be completed. Buzz buzz buzz. The frequency of the void's trembling increased. The entire mountain range shook, and gradually, it began to shrink. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit knew very well what this meant. The reactivation of the 2-world gate had reached the final stage. However, the evacuation of Changyang Prefecture was still ongoing. Thump. Finally, in the evening, accompanied by an earth-shattering dull thud, on the southern side of Green Cloud Mountain, the mountain wall guarded by Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, Zheng Busan and company burst out with blinding pillars that tore through the air and shot into the sky. Whoosh! As the pillars of light appeared, a door connected to the entire mountain wall spun crazily and quickly appeared. Swish! 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 As soon as the door of light opened, black arrows of light shot out like a drizzle of rain. Humph! Bai Zhankong growled. He held a jade seal in his hand and slapped it in the air. Buzz! Bang! 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 All the light arrows were immediately blocked by a translucent barrier and froze in the air. Bai Zhankong with his cold face was about to step forward. Pooh! 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 Suddenly, the translucent barrier shattered, and the black light arrows continued to shoot forward, flying towards Bai Zhankong, Zheng Busan, Shirkei, and the others. It was so fast that the group only had time to prepare to dodge. Bang! Just as they began to move, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit had already released a palm strike and shattered all the black light arrows. As expected, they came with ill intentions. Before they even stepped through the two-world gate, they had already launched an attack. The last trace of hope in the primordial spirit's heart immediately dissipated. Attention everyone! Su Jingxing's primordial spirit shouted, the enemy is about to appear. Everyone, get ready. While spreading out, remain vigilant. They're here. As soon as it finished speaking, tall figures walked out of the two-world gate under everyone's gaze. At this moment, the entire mountain range had stopped trembling. The mountain wall where the two-world gate was located also stopped moving. Only the air around the door was still distorted with ripples appearing. When everyone saw these tall figures coming out of the gates, they sucked in a cold breath of air. Demonic energy. At first glance, everyone's hearts turned cold and they were incomparably shocked. The other party were actually demons. Their entire bodies were enveloped in demonic energy. Even though there weren't many of them, every demon was more than 3 meters tall. They wore black shells that covered half of their bodies, and their exposed skin was covered in scales. Even their hairless heads were densely covered in scales. Their facial features were similar to that of a human's. Their chins and sides were covered in scales. Even their noses were covered in fine dark scales that shone with a metallic luster. Pairs of pitch-black pupils with a trace of flames projected pleasant surprise as they looked around. However, when he saw Shirke, Zheng Busan, Pei Donglai, and the others, the gazes became surprised, mocking, and disdainful. Human race. Ha, this is actually a world ruled by humans. Not only that, most importantly, these humans are pitifully weak. Ha ha ha. Good, good, this is great. The weak human race rules this world. The cross-world connection has gone too smoothly. After occupying this world, the resources mined should be enough to be handed over. That's needless to say. Resources are definitely abundant in worlds that have not been fully mined. So, let's put this matter aside and enjoy ourselves first. Look at these humans, aren't they full of hostility towards us? Ha ha ha. I love these humans the most. They wish they could kill us, but they can't do anything to us. Ha ha ha. The dozen or so demons ignored Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, Pei Donglai, Bai Zhankong, and the others. As they discussed, they laughed excitedly. Shirke, Zheng Busan, Xiahou Chuanwu, and the others indeed did not understand the demon language they spoke. But Su Jingxing's primordial spirit understood. Not only did it understand, it also knew what this demon race was called and where they mainly lived. The Saijin demon race. In the memory cards extracted from the last battle in the Kuntian world, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit had read many memories of the demons. Through these memories, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit learned a lot of information about the demons. These dozen or so Saijin demons were just part of them. The Saijin demon race was one of the demon races with powerful physiques. Their innate ability was to devour most metals, refine and absorb them to become the source of energy for their bodies and demonic power. This was also the reason why they went on and on about mining. In a new world, there would definitely be all kinds of metals. All the metals on Earth Star were their resources. The style of the Saijin race was, upon discovering a world or planet, mine without limits, after crippling it, they would continue to head to other worlds and planets. The world that was connected to Earth Star in ancient times was most likely occupied by them just like that. Now, it had become a transit station for the Saijin race to conquer other worlds. How could they not be excited when they arrived on Earth Star and discovered a complete new world? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was both surprised and delighted as it surveyed them. First Realm. Most of these Saijin demons were in the First Realm. With Pei Donglai, Xiahou Chuanwu, and Bai Zhankong in the primordial spirit realm, they could deal with them. Shirkei, Gong Junlian, and the others could deal with one or two of them together. Not to mention Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. At this thought, the primordial spirit's eyes flashed and decided to leave a few demons alive. I'll take care of the one in the middle. Everyone else, join forces and kill them all. Swish. 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 As soon as it finished speaking, Shirkei, Gong Junlian, Xing Busan, and the others, who had been waiting nervously, immediately released their attacks. Xiahou Chuanwu, Bai Zhankong, Pei Donglai, and the others followed. Dongfang Pochu also attacked from the side. Before the dozen or so Saijin demons could react, they were struck. Having lost the initiative, they roared in anger. Although they were struck, they did not die immediately, but that was because their bodies were powerful. In reality, everyone in the Saijin race had suffered many injuries. As they roared, they charged into the air and pounced towards the crowd. One of the second realm Saijin demons was the fastest. It held a demonic blade in its hand and slashed through the air towards Gong Junlian. Swish. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit flashed and landed behind this second realm demon. It slapped down. Bang! With a muffled groan, the second realm Saijin demon fell from the sky and crashed to the ground. Its left shoulder caved in. As the demonic energy warped, demonic blood splattered. Roar! The second realm Saijin demon roared in pain, its eyes fixed on Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. Ned human, you will die an ugly death. I'm going to eat you, eat you. Pa! The slap was loud and resounding. The second realm Saijin demon stopped talking abruptly. A red mark appeared on its face. Eat me? I'm afraid you're not qualified. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit sent a mental voice transmission. At the same time, it raised its hand and executed the firmament nirvana palm towards the other Saijin demons. In terms of numbers, this group of more than 10 Saijin demons who were spearheading the attack still had an advantage over Shirkei, Gong Junlian, and the others. There was a limited number of transcendent grade experts on Earth Star, and every death meant one less. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit naturally wouldn't watch them be killed by the Saijin demons. Given the power of Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, it would be troublesome to deal with demons in the third realm and above. However, it could bluntly say that it could kill demons in the first realm and second realm at will. And that was indeed the case. Bang! 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 Accompanied by a series of dull thuds, card extraction notifications appeared. Multitasking, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit opened its palm and took out these cards one by one to read their information. Black body card, black body card, black body card. They were all black body cards. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit did not extract the memory card that it wanted the most right now. The memory card could allow him to learn about the force behind these Saijin demons. Since it couldn't extract any, the primordial spirit could only continue to leave survivors for interrogation. What's your name? Staring at the second realm Saijin demon, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit sent a cold voice transmission. Answer the question and I'll give you a quick death. Humph. The second realm Saijin demon sneered coldly. It glared at Su Jingxing's essence soul and remained silent. Not answering. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit chuckled. With a flip of its palm, a wide saber appeared. It swung hard. Plkch. Blood splattered as a scaled arm was thrown into the air. Ugh! The second realm Saijin demon growled, its eyes filled with endless anger as it stared fixedly at Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. Still not talking. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit met its gaze and sent a cold voice transmission. You will die a horrible death. The second realm Saijin demon roared in a hoarse voice. Plkch. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit swung its saber again and chopped off a leg of the demon. This saber was one of the divine weapons he had picked up on the Five Fingers Mountain. It was extremely sharp. The body of a second-realm Saijin demon was tough. Ordinary divine weapons could not break it, but this divine weapon could. With 2 consecutive slashes, it sliced off an arm and a leg. The killing intent and anger in the eyes of the second-realm Saijin demon grew stronger. Demonic blood with a metallic aura flowed out from the wounds and landed on the ground, creating pits. "Are you going to speak?" Su Jingxing's primordial spirit looked down from above and ignored the cold killing intent of the second-realm Saijin demon as it shouted through voice transmission. "Kill me if you dare," growled the demon. At this moment, all the other Saijin demons had been dealt with. After all, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit alone had wiped out half of them. Pei Donglai, Xiahou Chuanwu, and Bai Zhankong killed the rest one after another. This second-realm Saijin demon was the only survivor. It also realized this as it growled and became increasingly irritable and hysterical. D*Ned humans, don't even think about living. No one can escape. When? PLKCH. With a flash of saber light, the other leg of the second-realm Saijin demon left its body and flew into the air. Roar! The demon immediately roared in pain. Die! All of you must die. Just you wait, when the king of the Saijin race descends, all of you will die. What is this fellow saying? Xing Busan wiped the sweat off his face and asked curiously as he looked at the snarling demon. Looking at its hideous expression, "I know it's not anything good," Xing Busi replied. "These devils are probably scouts." Xiahou Chuanwu calmed his breathing and said in a deep voice, "We have to think of a way to close this two-world gate." "How?" Dongfang Pochu couldn't help but ask. "Can the two-world gate still be closed?" "If it can be opened, it can naturally be closed," Bai Zhankong replied. "But we don't know how to close it. There is pitifully little information about the two-world gates in White Emperor City." Shike, Gong Junlian, Yixiangtian, and the others looked at one another. That's right. Since it was a gate, it could be opened and closed. However, the two-world gates were too ancient and mysterious. Who knew how to close one? Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was no exception. Through the law of space, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit sensed the two-world gate and realized that it was almost impossible to close it. This was because the two-world gate was connected not to the mountain where the mountain wall was, but the entire Green Cloud mountain range. To close the two-world gate, they had to transfer the entire Green Cloud mountain range to another world. Given the uniqueness of the two-world mountain, only then could they direct the trouble away. However, moving the Green Cloud mountain range was too difficult. In any case, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit could not do it now. Not to mention the rest. Therefore, closing the two-world gate was unrealistic. The second-realm Saijin demon race was about to be reduced to a stick, yet it refused to reveal any information. It was extraordinarily stubborn. After some thought, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit condensed a wisp of divine consciousness and forcefully entered the mind of the second-realm Saijin demon. Then, after entering, it released the Nine Souls ring. Swish! 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 As soon as the primordial spirit divine consciousness descended into the demon's consciousness, it controlled the Nine Souls ring to dance and trap the shocked soul of the demon. You! Boom! The scorching flames of the soul ring swept out and ignited the soul of the second-realm Saijin demon. Ah! The demon's soul roared, its face distorted and its soul trembling non-stop. D*Ned human, you will die a horrible death. Boom! Boom! The manifestation of Su Jingxing's primordial spirit divine consciousness did not respond. It only controlled the Nine Souls ring to burn the soul of the second-realm Saijin demon. The force used was neither light nor heavy. It would neither kill the soul of the demon to death nor make it feel good. All it wanted was for it to suffer and go crazy, but feel helpless. The demon had endured the pain when its limbs were chopped off. However, with its entire soul ignited, the pain that truly came from its soul made it suffer. It roared crazily, wanting to be freed. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit naturally wouldn't let it have its way. It had been controlling its strength well, making the second realm Saijin demon wish it was dead. Finally, it couldn't take it anymore and roared, "I'll speak. I'll speak." Swoosh! The 9 souls ring stopped burning, but it did not leave the demon's soul immediately. "If you had done this early, you wouldn't have suffered so much." Su Jingxing's primordial spirit divine consciousness manifestation shouted softly. The demon's soul did not respond and only lowered its head. A friendly reminder. Seeing this, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit said coldly, "If you lie, I'll make you suffer even more pain. If you don't believe me, you can try." Su Jingxing had yet to use those curse cards that targeted the soul. The demon's soul replied in a low voice, "Don't worry, I won't lie. If you have any questions, feel free to ask." "I hope so," said Su Jingxing's primordial spirit indifferently. In the next second, it started asking questions. The second realm Saijin demon answered them honestly. As expected, these dozen or so Saijin demons were just a scouting team. However, on the other side of the two-world gate, there weren't as many Saijin demons who had stayed behind as much as Su Jingxing, Xing Busan, and the others had imagined. On the other side of the two-world gate, there was only a third-realm demon general leading more than 200 Saijin demons to guard the passageway. Apart from the third-realm demon general, the strongest existence in the main army was a fifth-realm demon king. The other party was leading an army and was still fighting the last of the natives on the continent of Divine Grace. The continent of Divine Grace was another world connected to Earth Star before ancient times. Under the lead of the fifth-realm demon king, the team that the second-realm Saijin demon was part of descended on the continent of Divine Grace. In just 3 months, they had conquered most of the territory. The last group of people would not survive for more than a few days under the encirclement of the fifth-realm demon king. Under the lead of the third-realm demon general, this scouting team chanced upon the passageway that connected to Earth Star on the continent of Divine Grace. Although it had been closed for countless years, it was not difficult to reopen it. The Saijin demon race was very proficient in passageways and array formations. They carried all kinds of tools and energy stones with them. Earlier, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit had used the power of the law of space to interfere with the opening of the two world gates. The team of demons immediately sensed it and took forceful measures. Then, as soon as the passageway opened, they attacked. This was the entire process. It could be said that the last resistance team of the continent of Divine Grace would not last long. It was bad news among bad news. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit could still kill a third-realm demon general with some effort. The other 200 or so Saijin demons could also be dealt with. But not a fifth-realm demon king. Especially since the second-realm Saijin demon had said that they had more than one king, 3 of them. Even if Su Jingxing's primordial spirit used the evil energy sweep of the red dragon reverse scale, it could at most kill 2 of them. The remaining one could still destroy Su Jingxing's primordial spirit. Of course, with the ability of the 5th level of the Cosmic Tower, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit would not die. However, the number of heavenly Tao crystals it would take to revive once shall not be mentioned. A 5th realm demon king was not the strongest power of the Saijin demons. Their strongest existence on the continent of Divine Grace was a 5th realm demon king. In other worlds, there was no lack of 6th realm demon kings and 7th realm demon emperors. The second realm Saijin demon had said that if all 3 of their kings were to die, the emperors of the race would personally descend. With the arrival of a 7th realm demon emperor, the red dragon reverse scale would be useless as well. Unless Su Jingxing's physical body left the Azure Dragon world and returned to Earth Star, otherwise, the threat of the Saijin demon would not be eliminated. Therefore, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit sincerely prayed that the last resistance team on the continent of divine grace could hold on for a longer time. The longer the continent of divine grace delayed, the more time Earth Star would have. Bam! With an explosion, the head of the second realm Saijin demon shattered. It was deader than dead. Now that it had obtained the important information, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit naturally wouldn't keep it alive. It extracted a card and quietly took it out to read. It was still a black body card. "Why did you kill it?" asked Sing Busan in surprise as he looked at the incomplete corpse of the second realm Saijin demon. "I've already finished the interrogation," Su Jingxing's primordial spirit said calmly. "Huh? You're done interrogating?" Sing Busan was stunned. Xing Buqi, Bai Zhankong, Shi Ke, Xiahou Chuanwu, and the others were also stunned. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit was interrogating the demon just now. There was no sound. Was it done directly through the soul? In his shock, Bai Zhankong suddenly came back to his senses and asked, "What information did you get from the interrogation?" As for how and when Su Jingxing's primordial spirit interrogated the second realm demon, it was automatically ignored. Continent of Divine Grace. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit replied, "The other world connected to Earth Star is called the Continent of Divine Grace. In other words, there's also a green cloud mountain on the other side. These demons are called the Saijin demon race. It quickly recounted the important information obtained from the interrogation. In the end, Su Jingxing's primordial spirit said in a low voice, "The passageway that connects to Earth Star on Green Cloud Mountain on the other side is mainly done through a demonic artifact. As long as we destroy this demonic artifact, we can temporarily close the two-world gate." Silence. Shi Ke, Gong Junlian, Xiahou Chuanwu, and the others fell silent after hearing the news. Firstly, this news was too shocking. Secondly, Earth Star was finished. This Saijin demon race was so powerful that it made one despair. Given their strength, even with the entire world's strength, they would not be able to stop the invasion of the Saijin demon race. However, there were also those who reacted quickly. "What do you mean, Martial Sage Kong?" Bai Zhankong was the first to come back to his senses. He looked at Su Jingxing's primordial spirit and pondered over its words. "Martial Sage Kong, are you thinking of?" "That's right. The only solution now is to go to the other side of the passageway and temporarily close the two-world gate." Su Jingxing's primordial spirit said in a deep voice, "This is the best solution. As long as the two-world gate is closed, even a king of the Saijin demon race will have to spend a lot of time and effort to open it again. And this gives us buffer time to think of other ways." "Go to the other side?" Xing Busan murmured as he came back to his senses. "If we go there and close the passageway, will we be stuck there? Is there a need to ask?" Xing Buqi glanced at him disdainfully. "The two-world gate has closed. How are you going to come back? Doesn't that mean we're dead meat if we go?" Dongfang Pochu blurted out subconsciously. As soon as he finished speaking, he realized what he had said. His face flushed red, and he lowered his head, not daring to make a sound. But everyone present understood. That's right, there was no return. Closing the two-world gate and losing the way back was one. Being surrounded by the Saijin demons on the other side was the second reason. Not everyone was Su Jingxing's primordial spirit and could easily kill the Saijin demons. It took the combined efforts of Shi Ke, Xing Busan, and the others to barely kill the dozen or so Saijin demons. Su Jingxing's essence soul was the one who took care of the strongest second realm Saijin demon, as well as the remaining half of the demons. Without Su Jingxing's primordial spirit, this scouting team alone was enough to crush them. The Saijin demons were so powerful that if they went to the other side, they would be like sheep entering a tiger's den. They would definitely die. At this thought, everyone's expressions changed. On the other hand, after cursing, Zhengbusi took a few steps forward and said seriously, "Count me in. How can I miss such a major event that will leave one's name in history?" "Count me in too," said Bai Zhankong coolly. "White Emperor City is responsible for protecting Earth Star. No matter how dangerous the road ahead is, I will move forward." That's right, that's right. This is our duty." Zheng Busan laughed dryly. "Besides, we can let our physical bodies go over and leave our essence souls here. Or, our essence souls go over and our physical bodies stay here. This way, we won't be completely dead, right?" "That's right." Dongfang Pochu's eyes lit up. "Our physical bodies and essence souls can be separated. No matter which one goes, we can keep the other alive." "Yeah, I didn't think of that earlier." "Huh, I'll come too." "You guys are great, you'll go to your deaths together, right?" The others echoed in agreement. Su Jingxing's primordial spirit listened to their discussion. It opened its mouth and closed it again. Forget it, I shouldn't dampen their confidence. Such matters could not be forced to begin with. It's not easy to convince oneself to die unselfishly for the sake of Earth Star. There was no need for Su Jingxing's primordial spirit to increase the threat at this time. In most cases, if either the physical body or the essence soul were to die, the other could indeed continue to live. The duration depended on the situation. However, against the Sajin demon, given the primordial spirit's understanding of them, they also specialized in targeting the soul. They were also aware of the exact situation of the human race's divine martial arts system. So they usually destroy consciousness directly. In other words, when the essence soul was killed, the consciousness would also be completely destroyed. Without consciousness, how could the physical body survive?